Hello and welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play video here on the truly Bedrock survival server. Today I'm going to be making a one-chunk fully automatic sugarcane farm, but before we get to that, outside of the video, I've been decorating my house, as you can see in this time-lapse. I also worked on the outside area on the next level up between the staircases, and I've concocted a foolproof plan to steal Jolene from Jade and Slack. But more on that later. Right now, we've got work to do.
You lose.
And the first bit of work we need to do is actually to fly over to the raid farm that Jesse B, Slack and I built in the last episode. If you haven't seen it, check it out and have a look at the storage system in a little bit more detail because it was kind of rushed over at the end of the last video. So yes, basically quite a lot of time and quite a lot of Slack's resources later, and we have quite a plain, boring room with many chests in it, which hopefully should start filling up with many items soon as we start gathering things. I think, in fact, these two are mine that I put to one side, so I need to take those with me. And all we've got is a sorting system for all of the main stuff that we're collecting, so everything with an item frame on is stuff that we are collecting. And the other stuff, all of this is bulk storage, so this is all of the unstackable items that come into this system that we can then pick through, and then when we've finished picking, we turn the lamp on that makes me cry. And the reason it makes me cry is that's now basically unlocking a system allowing all of those things to filter through this hopper line underneath and go into lava. And look, there's, oh man, there's vindicator heads, there's totems going through. It's all just getting burnt in lava inside this little system here that now I'm probably stuck inside of. Oh, jeez. So the reason we've left this plain is Jessie B said she wanted to work on the storage area of this farm, so we've left it as plain as possible so she can. Slack has linked up the nether to his tunnel, which is great, and then I spent a little bit of time working on the area at home. So yeah, now we've got this nice transition from the spawn area down these stairs to a very luscious, mossy looking, green, nice area. I think I've done a pretty good job, and the interior with this I'm happy with enough. It's a bit bulky, it's a bit blocky, it's actually a very small build inside. There wasn't a great deal I could squeeze into it. I'm not ever so good at interiors, but it'll do for what I need. We've got storage, we've got crafting tables, we've got a bed, and we have the hole in the floor that takes us down to our main area, which is where I keep all of my good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, I think it's about time I got some serious AFK in over at the witch farm again, because my gunpowder stash is down to just less than 2 hoppers because we gave the rest of it to Slack for the rocket shop. Speaking of rocket shops, we've made a whole bunch more sales, but not for stuff we really wanted all that much. We've managed to sell everything for lots of dumb, which, if you don't know what dumb is, it is the currency created by Zloy to try and take over the other currencies on the server again, I guess, which we are accepting in our shop, which is absolutely fine, but there's not really a great deal we can spend it on. So I guess for now we should probably just store it in this secret vault here and hope that nobody spots it, so that it maybe will increase in value in the future and then we can actually spend it on good things, I guess. Speaking of rockets at the rocket shop, I need to make more in order to refill these, but I have no gunpowder and I have absolutely no sugarcane, so that is what we're going to be doing today. However, before we could start cracking on making farms, I needed a few resources, the main one being wood, which I can get from my little underground tree farm. However, it was taking me a while to break through the leaves in order to get the saplings to replant the farm, so I decided it was a good idea to go and enchant a couple of diamond hoes. After doing that, I could get saplings using the fortune hoe a lot quicker, which meant I could harvest the wood quicker, which was great. Once I got enough wood, I then realized I needed sand, as I had absolutely none of it, and I needed to make glass. So I flew all the way over to the fortress farm area in the nether, put a portal in, and hoped that the other side would at least be some sort of desert. Having a quick fly around, there was nothing. However, there was a sandy hill not too far away from the portal, which was outside of the build limit, so I decided to mine it for a shulker box worth of sand. I headed back to the nether, down to the drowned farm digging area, and that's where we rejoined the video. Okay, so here we are over at the drowned farm area where we've also got our spider spawner, and you can see the area here is still a bit of a mess. We've dug out a reasonable amount of space down the bottom here, but we've got no real easy way up and down to there. But I guess before I do that, it's probably a good idea to get a little bit of a temporary furnace array set up just so that I can get my sand smelted into glass so that we've got something to work with when we need it. Which I did by digging and placing many blocks and then getting carried away and starting to measure out chunk boundaries and borders for the farms and building things that are ridiculous that don't do anything that I didn't need to waste time on. Because I'm efficient. And here it is. Sort of, a bit, kind of, some of it. I've got a staircase in, which is nice, and I've got a box full of bubble columns, which is completely pointless. And the reason for that is it's just decoration. I want to space these farm areas out in chunks. I'm a big fan of building chunk farms so that you don't get redstone overlapping chunk boundaries and causing problems. And this here is a chunk. Unfortunately, where the stairs came down was not chunk aligned, so we had this extra bit of space around the paths, which I decided to just put in something which is different and interesting and industrial looking but does absolutely nothing. So this spot I'm standing on here is where we're going to be having our sugarcane farm, and obviously there is space around here for more, and the more digging we do, the more farms we can have. So now we're starting to get a little bit of infrastructure in place. It's probably a good idea to actually start building this farm, but before I do that, I want to move all of this storage stuff down there because it's absolute pain having to keep coming up to get things out, to go back down again, to come back up again. So yeah, I've got to move a whole bunch of stuff now. And one of the first things I went to move was, of course, my ender chest, which I've just turned into 8 obsidian because I've got my fortune pickaxe on me. And as much as I have pretty much the entire contents of the world in these chests, there is not an ender pearl or any blaze rods. So I guess I need to go home. Jeez. Okay, good news back at home. I do have an eye of ender. I also have 14 ender pearls and a bunch of blaze rods, which I am now going to turn into more of those so I can make more ender chests, because if we look in my jewel box, which is where I keep my spare ender chests, I've only got one left. We now have 16 ender chests. This is good news. Let's put everything away and go back to what we were doing. And just like that, the storage has gone from there and into this new room down here, which is just a very, very basic little room with lots and lots of chests in, and all of the chests are full of stuff. Great. I seem to be doing everything but making a sugarcane farm right now, so I guess now is probably a good time to actually start working on the farm. Genuinely, as I said that, I then received a message from Slack about the raid farm, who then also said, did I want to build a shop with him today? And of course, I said yes. I've got a feeling they're on the surface, aren't they, Slack? Oh, hello. Hello.
Yeah, I may have hit my record button just now, just saying.
Yeah. Oh, there's another one. Oh, this is good. Yeah. This is nice.
Yeah,
a bit of exercise. These things are not very good at killing you, just saying. They're very easy to take out.
Literally, I just said that I think this thing is fixed and not broke anymore, Foxy. That literally just happened.
I just want to say there's more, because the raid bar's not going up.
No, let's see. Let's see if we got a guy up there fighting. Oh, yeah, he's got friends right here looking at him. Yep. How? Oh, hi. Jeez. Why don't y'all just fall off and...
Yep. And there we go. That's clear. Oh, no, there's one remaining.
Oh, I don't know where these spawned.
It's weird that it happens when me and you are in the area. Because he's been on for ages, absolutely fine, no problem. Me and you come over here and start doing some sorting on the storage, and we've got loads of issues, just like we did the other day.
We'll have to do more testing on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you look at how many emeralds there was over here already, Foxy?
Yeah, we got a double chest already. Yeah. Considering I've already taken home 9 stacks today, that was from what we shared out the last time we were here. Yeah. I think that's not bad going, really, because he's only been AFK a little while.
About 2 hours now, isn't he? Yeah, seems about right.
Exactly. I've been collecting all the totems.
So why don't we, make a raid shop? Get a raid shop set up over there with our other shops over there. We might as well profit from this, right?
Exactly. Yes, I agree. My failings in English aside, Slack then asked a question about, the other person that helped us build this farm.
We built this with 3 people.
I don't remember that. Remember that at all? What are you talking about? So, with Jesse B seemingly forgotten and Slack and I keen to make a shop as quickly as possible so that we can make many, many profits, it was of course time to do a time lapse. So there we go. As you can see, we now have a brand new shop next to our airfield hangar thing. And it is, of course, a medical tent. It's a military medical tent because Slack and I decided it would be good to start adding some military-themed things over here. And we chose this because, obviously, it sells totems, which are in the middle of here. And it looks like we've already had a couple of sales, which is great. And the prices for these totems are 8 copper ingots per totem. Team 2 gets them half price, or we are charging for 1 dumb for 5 totems. So, yes, we're accepting Zloy's currency in here as well. And yeah, it looks like we sold a grand total of 4 totems. Anyway, enough of shops and things like that. It's time to go back over to the drown farmed area and continue building. Well, I've designed a lot of different sugarcane farms over the years, and I've used a lot of different types in my videos, and I think today is no exception. I'm going to be creating a completely new design just for Truly Bedrock Season 3. Hurrah! So the basis of this farm is going to be something similar to this. Excuse the very messy redstone at the back, but basically what I'm after is a farm that uses as few redstone components as possible, that doesn't rely on observers, and which is completely 100% on and offable, which we've got here. So basically what we have is the sugarcane growing because the random tick speed is up high on this test world, and then slime blocks being pushed out by a single piston controlled by an observer on an etho hopper clock. Although I did just see, I saw those ping out over here. How is that possible, Minecraft? Come on. That's ridiculous. Look, how again, over there. All right, I might need to tweak this design a bit, jeez. So as I was saying, yes, a very simple farm that doesn't ping the sugarcane out across the field because it's now got too wide area to drop the sugarcane, and if I increase the random tick speed again, you will see that this farm now throws it all on the floor, and because we've moved the hopper minecart around a little bit, it now picks it all up. And the hopper minecart system here is better because normally what would happen is it would fill up very quickly and have nowhere to unload it, but below the hopper minecart is another hopper minecart which is constantly sucking the items out of that one very quickly, which means it can then take its time to send them through a single hopper and into a chest, creating many, many, many sugarcanes for us. So obviously these 4 bits of sugarcane here are not going to create us a great deal over time on their own, so I am going to have to convert this into an entire chunk's worth of design, which is what I've got this blank space here for. So the area we actually have to work with is 1 block less than a chunk on each side because of how we've done our paths, so our wall's technically going to be at this point here. However, in order to not really crush ourselves down, I am going to move the path slightly so that we can have our wall there. And that means we've got a 14 by 14 area in the middle to fit as many of these in as possible. So I managed to squeeze 3 rows of this farm into the 1 chunk area, and there's plenty of room obviously above it and quite a bit of room below as well, so I could potentially put more in if I needed to. That equates to 36 pieces of sugarcane in total, which is not going to give us a great deal of return back in a short space of time. However, as a long-term AFK solution, that should generate us a reasonable amount of sugarcane. However, I need a little bit more than just a reasonable amount of sugarcane if I'm going to be making rockets for the rocket shop, so I designed this instead. And it might not look like much from there, but if we look at this, this thing has a whole bunch of redstone and is a bone meal powered sugarcane farm, which means it will generate a lot more. And it's all based around this 1 rail system. We've got a chest here with bone meal in and a hopper minecart underneath that, a whole bunch of hoppers which lead into a whole bunch of dispensers which are sat next to our sugarcane, and the same is on both sides. When the hopper minecart gets round the track and hits this detector rail, the system will activate. First of all, the pistons will extend, which will break any sugarcane that's grown naturally, like that one, collecting those, so that's not wasted. Then the dispensers will fire, growing the sugarcane, and the pistons will then fire again, breaking that growth. Underneath that, a hopper minecart will then be set off to collect all of the items. It will come back and deposit those items through another hopper minecart so it can do it quickly, and it will all get put in that chest. So if I press that button there, the hopper minecart will go round, it will get to the detector rail, they will extend, grow, extend again. Lots of them will go pinging out, but most of them will get collected by the hopper minecart, which has already transferred it through there, which is now going into that chest. The only thing this farm is lacking is a timer. Obviously, I have to press the button to manually do it at the moment. We will want that on a timer, but that is something we can easily add in. Another etho hopper clock like that one down there, and this thing will be fully automatic, generating many, many sugar canes. So I guess I better build it. And build it I did, which did involve getting a few more resources, such as some glazed terracotta, as well as some bows so that I could make dispensers. I also made some more redstone components, including redstone torches, pistons, hoppers, chests, and all of the things I thought I was going to need. I then even needed to dig out more of the area above where the farm was going to be because the roof was very low down. After doing that, I could start building the structure, putting in the repeaters, the torches, the redstone, the dirt, the water, the dispensers, the slime blocks, the actual sugarcane itself, and then obviously all of the hoppers and rail as well. And by that point, it was just about done. So there we go. It is now 100% complete. All it's lacking is a little bit of bone meal, and I believe it should work. I pressed the button a few times and it's kind of done what it's supposed to do. We've had no bone meal in it yet, so I don't know if it's going to work with that. It should do. I have here a whole bunch of bones, which I'm going to turn in. I have here a whole bunch of bones, which I'm going to turn into bone meal and chuck in there. Just like that, and that will filter down into the hopper minecart like it is doing. Let's press the button. Let's see what happens. It's going to get all round there. Click the button. Everything happens. Oh, and it actually did dispense the first time round, which means we should now have a bunch of sugarcane in the chest below. And I have been fiddling around with the chest system to try and bring it all to the middle. It's a bit janky. It's not ideal, but it'll do. And there we go. We are bringing sugarcane down to the middle. Well, that doesn't feel like all the stuff we should have just grown then. Why only 29? Seemingly only 29 because there are still items inside. So I think our hopper minecarts are perhaps setting off a little bit early. And I can see exactly the same on that side as well. So yeah, we need to adjust the timings for that, which I did. Okay, so as you can see here, I've made some redstone changes. Mainly this comparator delay clock, which basically keeps the powered rail for these minecarts open a little bit longer so they can go backwards and forwards. It has affected timings on the pistons and the dispensers as well, but it all works okay. So you'll see when it comes round here, we'll get exactly the same thing coming on. Piston extends, it grows. It now waits a while before the piston extends again, but you can see the hopper minecarts have gone backwards and forward twice now, enabling them to pick up everything on the way there and back again. So they've gone, they're back, they're gone again, and now they're back. So that has now picked up everything. If we check out over here, you'll see there are no items on the floor in there at all. And that means they should all, apart from the ones that spill out over the side because of the slime block issue, but yeah, they should all be in this chest now. So last time we ran this, we got 23 out of it when I pressed the button. Let's do it again and see what we get this time. So both the hopper minecarts have just got back. They should be transferring items through this bottom one, which means they're coming through here. As soon as that stops flashing, we know they've all gone into the chests, and we can check it out. And there we go, 40. So 20 from each side. That is absolutely right because there are 10 pieces of sugarcane on each one. So that's the maximum we can get. So that's great. Mathematically, it all adds up. There are 10 sugar canes on each side. When they grow with the bone meal, they'll grow twice. When they get harvested, you'll get 2 back for every bone meal, which means there's a maximum of 40 you could get, and we just got 40 back, which means for that particular one, it was lossless because none pinged out elsewhere. So this is great. All I need to do now is put a timer on it so I don't have to keep going up there and pressing the button. But as you can see from my inventory, I've already got quite a lot of sugarcane. So the biggest challenge I've got now is actually activating this hopper minecart without that button. Bringing the redstone up here is going to be tricky because there's a whole bunch of it already surrounding that block, and I can't go any further in this direction because we're over the pathway and I want this thing to be within the chunk. There is actually another solution here that might work out absolutely perfectly, and that is to not bother having a separate clock and just leave this thing turned on and then just have an off switch to turn it off again, because you can see the timings work out great. That gets all the way round and back again, and then the cycle starts again. It's got time to finish all of the clock stuff. It's got time to finish all of the redstone. The only downside with this plan is that these hopper minecarts are very rarely stopping for long enough to actually offload all of their stuff, which means eventually they are going to back up. If we look inside that one, there are constantly items inside of it, which means that it will eventually fill up. Now, when it does get there and pause for a second, it does offload, but it never quite runs out of all of them. Now, the minecart hopper below is doing a reasonable job, but again, that's backing up because the hoppers below it are too slow to take the items out quickly enough. So we could run this for a short space of time, just going backwards and forward constantly, but I'd much rather have it on a timer so it wasn't constantly going. So here we go, another Etho hopper clock design, this one with 16 items in, and that just feeds to a redstone wire that isn't particularly attractive. It goes up through these blocks, up a little redstone torch tower, and into that block above. And the great thing here is with the timings we've got, you'll see that this minecart hopper will almost just about fully unload when the top one goes off again, which means we've pretty much got perfect timing. It's got plenty of time to do everything. There we go, it fully unloaded and the top one left again. We'll see that in action when that comes back after the second one again. As it runs out, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the top one will go again. Off we go. Amazing. Great. So we've got perfect timing on that, which means we're going to be gathering a whole bunch of sugarcane very, very quickly. We've already got loads. I declared this farm, apart from the fact that it spits out sugarcane absolutely everywhere it's not supposed to, a 100% complete success. What do you think, Zombie? Do you think it's good? Don't really know, do you? Don't even care. Not really into farms, to be honest with you. I'm more of a builder. Jeez. Wow. Okay, so I've just completed a 5-minute test, and that's how much sugarcane I got from this, which works out around about 10,000 per hour. Which is pretty nice. That's not a bad amount of sugarcane to be creating, yeah, in an hour. I don't think I'd ever run this for that long because that'd be way too much. So I know this farm's not the fastest sugarcane farm in the world. In fact, I've had some that I've designed in the past that fit in one chunk that were so fast I couldn't actually collect the items quick enough, which is great. But realistically, I don't need that much. I need a reasonable amount, and I don't want to be waiting forever for it to grow on its own. So I do want a bone meal one, but I don't need millions and millions per hour. 10,000 per hour is plenty. So on that note, other than putting a new build around this and making it look all fancy, I think I'm done with this farm for now. Which sadly means I'm also done with this video pretty much. During the video we did have another live stream over on my Twitch channel where I did a lot more digging in this area and people turned me into a pickle. Yeah. Anyway, on that note, it is time for me to end. So as usual, I'd like to say thank you all very much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave a like. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. And hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye. What about Jolene? Well, there's been a bit of a server problem, so we'll have to come back to that another time. More on that later.